Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Board Game Mechanics. I'm Katie, and with me, as always, is...
Hey, everybody, what's going on? It is Jason.
You have lucked out today because our kids had to go to school, and neither Jason or I had to work. So it is a great time to do a podcast in the very quiet house.
Yeah, it's nice. It's almost too quiet when there's not a kid here, though. It's weird.
I don't think it's ever too quiet. And even better, we're getting ready to embark on the top 100. I know. How can that be, you ask? I don't know. Jason assures me that it's time to start that, so here we are.
Well, I mean, yeah, we usually started around this time, for sure.
I can't believe that. I was looking back over my files, and this is the fourth top 100 year that I've done, at least that I saved.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know if I ever did one with Joel. Maybe. Yeah, I can't remember.
I don't know. I mean, we maybe didn't play that. We probably only played like 100 games at that point.
Yeah, I think we probably played more. Just we didn't think about doing a ranking.
I don't know. The really interesting thing is every year we do this, I keep thinking, gosh, there's so many good games outside the 100. What the heck is happening? And it's just a sign that there's so many good games that exist. And then I also am reminded of good games that we have had for a long time that are really fun to play, and that this list reminds us, hey, we should get those out.
Yeah, and I mean, we've been trying to not play crappy games anymore. If I'm going to play games, I want to play games that I actually like. Yes. I don't want to waste time playing junk. So there is that. So most of the games that we play are fun games. So
that's true.
There we go.
Makes it very difficult to rank. So before we get to that, let's go over some news, because there are always new games coming out in this hobby. So the first one I talk about is on Kickstarter, and it is called Parks and Potions. I really think this is a new publisher. It's by Moon Saga Workshop. So it says it's their first created Kickstarter. So I always think that that's interesting to see what new groups are making. And in Parks and Potions, you're a park ranger, but of a mystical quality, because there are these animals in your park. And I do think they're kind of mystical looking animals. Also, the artwork is phenomenal. But you are going out to make some potions to heal these animals. So you are rolling dice. You're collecting animals of different, like, I don't want to say types, but like water animals, air animals, animals that fly, animals from the forest, that need different potions to heal them. And I think that by healing them, that in turn gives you points. So you roll these dice. They tell you what kind of extractions of flowers and things from the forest that they happen to be colors. And you get those potions. You can mix them to make different colors, which also they're, if you're colorblind, they have symbols for all the colors, which I think they actually are labeled fairly clearly on the dice. And then each potion has like a little like tag on it that shows the symbols, which I think is really cool. And then you get these potions in your inventory. Then you can use them, like it's like kind of contract fulfillment, to either mix them or just use them as they are and heal these potions. And I guess there's like some bonuses based on their biomes for the animals that you heal. You also get points just for them. It's looks like a lightweight contract fulfillment kind of, I don't want to say hand management, inventory management. I don't know what you call that. Resource management. There you go. There we go. I can do it. Just like a fun little game with pretty artwork. So if you're looking for some lighter games, something that's, pretty simple, want to back somebody new, check out Parks and Potions. There are 9 days left from the time this podcast is recorded on the Kickstarter, and the base game is $30, though they have a deluxe edition that has these really, really cool acrylic and wooden tokens. That's $60. So, and that's on Kickstarter. So that's Parks and Potions.
So first time Kickstarters are exciting, but it's also can be a little nervous too because maybe they don't know how to get their game out, or they underestimate, make you come back and pay more money. So this does sound interesting. It sounds cute. It sounds fun, but first time. So be prepared. Be aware. Should something go wrong, they haven't done it before.
Thanks for being a Debbie Downer. I appreciate it.
Sorry, I'm just saying.
And now I want to also look at GameFound for news. That's right. Also, my correspondent in the field is the best, and Mike is monitoring all of the crowdfunding sites. I just go where he tells me to go. But on GameFound, there is a game called West Story, and this is a town building game of the Wild West. It's tableau building. You're building your little Wild West town from cards. But what's really interesting about this, actually, as you move around as you're scoring points, it allows you access to different parts of the board. So actually having that score track going around the board and where you are on that is key. Because when you're in different parts of the town, you can make different trades for different items because you're setting up you're getting cards and they're actually, you're drafting them. I don't know if you're buying them, but you're getting them somehow and putting them on.
The video didn't say that. At least I didn't hear it say that.
Getting it on your board to make your actions better because there are some basic actions that your board gets. But you can upgrade them with the cards that you're placing. And then actually you are then kind of doing a sort of worker placement to activate the cards. So you're getting animals and there's these adorable cow meeples. I love me a little shaped meeple. Bandits will periodically show up and you can fight them to get points that way. Actions on cards, like instant actions on cards, but also actions that you can activate. Just seems to be a lot of things going on in this game. And they really talk about it as like a medium level Euro. So to me, there's some complexity. You've got tableau building, you've got resource management, there's some set collection, lots of different cards coming out. There's also an expansion about pioneers or something, which I think is great. I love a Western theme. I also love a good town building game. And this one has really got me intrigued. So if you like the West, if you like some town building, if you are moving over to GameFound, check out West Story. There's 13 days left on that campaign, and it's about $33 because it's 30 euros. About 33 US dollars for the base game, which does have a lot in it. And unlock stretch goals, of which many, many, many have actually been unlocked. So check out West Story.
Yeah, this game seems really cool for $33.
That's what I thought.
I mean, from just watching that video, there's a ton of stuff going on. Some dice placement. You're fighting some baddies occasionally. Doing some set collection. Like, it sounds awesome. Yeah, the price seems interesting to me, so I'm assuming that the shipping is going to be unbearable. They have to be making up for that somehow. I don't know. It seems too good to be true on that price.
I don't know. I mean, I assume it's shipping from, it's being done by Smart Flamingo. And if it's in euros, I imagine we'll have to get it here from the Euro place. So the shipping might be higher.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's a good price, and I'm kind of interested in it. I'm going to have to look into that a little more.
Yeah, the all-ins are, there's some cool stuff that you can get.
That's where they make their money, because most people go all in. Joke's on them.
We never do. That's not true. When I backed a Kickstarter, I went all in. Let's go to Japan. I'm like, yeah, give me those fancy bowls. Give me that wrapping. I want it all.
That's true. I think I mostly went all in on Wonderland's War, too. But
yeah.
Those are the two that we've done it on.
Where we just lost our minds, apparently. Yeah, well. So, yes, Parks and Potions on Kickstarter and West Story on GameFound. And that's all I have for news today because we got lots more to talk about.
All right, so let's talk about a few games that we played. And we played lots of games, but we're only going to talk about 3. And so let's go. The first game we're going to talk about is a little card game that was sent to us from my favorite company of all time, Rio Grande. And this is a game called FTW, which means for the win. I don't know why they just didn't call it for the win. I don't know.
Because it's not slang, man.
I guess. But the game has nothing to do with any of that. So I don't know. It could have just been called Numbers of the Game. But effectively what this game is you are trying to get down to one card. And you're trying to get one card in your hand that's the lowest value. If you can't do that, you want to have as many close to value cards in your hand as you can at the end of the game, because you're going to score your highest card minus all your other cards. Okay. Now, the way you're going to do that is you're going to discard a card to the discard pile. You have to play a card that's higher than the discard pile. If you can't do that, you're going to play a card face up in front of you and then take a card from the discard pile and put it in your hand. And then the third thing you can do is you can mix a card that's face up in front of you, or cards that are face up in front of you, with a card in your hand to play that card into the discard pile, because that will exceed the value of what's currently out there. That's the whole premise of the game, is you're trying to get rid of your cards before everybody else does, because you're trying to keep a low card in your hand to score as few points as you can. But sometimes you may not even be the one that has one card in your hand, and you may get a better score than those people if you can manage your hand correctly. So while this game sounds super simple, and it is super simple, there's a lot of stuff going on in here. There's a lot of interesting decisions on when do you want to play a high card immediately down to the discard pile? Do you want to just start playing low cards to give yourself a chance to play more? But then what if somebody then jumps it up to a higher route, and then what you did was for nothing? Do you want to put a high card down in front of you so you can then get another high card from the discard pile so you have more options to play? There's tons of ways to go about this game. It didn't seem like it was that deep, but as we were playing it, it really was a lot more deep than I was thinking. So yeah, I really enjoyed this game. It's fun. It has kind of an Uno vibe with the way the cards look and the way you're playing, but it's so much more than that. So what did you think about FTW?
Considering I won, and like some of you, I whooped pretty serious.
Yeah, I was not doing good. Not at all.
I loved it. And honestly, yes, the first hand we played, Jason said, well, the goal is to get the lowest card in your hand. Well, I had drawn the 1. So I thought, okay, I just have to keep the 1 in my hand, which was fine. And I worked it out that I ended up ending the round because all I had left was the 1. That was really cool. But the next time I had a lot more cards, but you are able to subtract all of the cards that you have in your hand from the highest card in your hand. And I ended up having a negative score, so I got 0. And you're trying to get the smallest amount of points. And I was like, wait a minute. This opens a whole new level of strategy. How maybe I want to keep cards that are in a run kind of close together, because then I don't have a big gap. But I can use all of those to offset a really large card. Laying down cards, forcing other people to kind of get more cards in their hand. But then if I've got 2 cards in my hand that are maybe 1 number away from each other, and someone else is going to go out, or someone isn't going out, and I have to play one of those and get a bigger card, then I've got a big gap.
Yeah, that's what bit me in my butt a couple times.
Yeah, it's just I love the thinking. I always say I love games that are simple in execution, but deep in choice. And this really is. At first I was like, this game's gonna be dumb, but it was really good. I really enjoy this. This will get in frequent rotation, I'm sure.
It looks dumb, and the rules make it seem like it's not going to be that fun.
Yeah.
But then you actually play it, and it's good. Yeah, so the way that it looks in the rule book do it no favors at all.
No.
But the game is really fun. Yeah, I don't get it. It's really good.
Yeah, I like it.
So moving on from a card game, we also played a game called Sea Dragons, which I backed on Kickstarter for one reason and one reason alone. And that is, well, 2 reasons technically. It has one of the designers is one of my favorite Italians, Daniele Tascini. but the artist is Weberson Santiago, and I'm a huge fan. We have a ton of his games. I like his art. I don't know. It's not even like the greatest art of all time. I like the way it looks. So we bought that game. And effectively what this is it's an abstract game, kind of a polyomino game, where you have these little sea dragon pieces. You have heads and you have like the body pieces. You only have a certain amount of heads. That's going to like determine the rounds of the game. And you're going to be placing these sea dragons out in certain patterns in one of the 4 sections of the board. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to sink different color pirate ships to fulfill contracts. You're trying to get coins. You're trying to eventually, at the end of the game, have the majority of dragons in each of the 4 areas to score a bunch of points. That's effectively the game. There's some coral cards that'll give you some bonuses. There's coins that you need to be able to build on top of some whirlpools and all that kind of thing. But it's a really cool game. There's an interesting rub where you have to place your dragons next to somebody else's color too. You can't ever build next to yourself, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, I expected really nothing from this game, and I actually really enjoy it. It was a fun little puzzle, and it looks awesome when everything's all set up. So yeah, I did a video on it. You can check it out if you want to know more. But what did you think about this game?
When we first got it out, I was like, oh, I'm going to hate this game. And at first I kind of did. I was like, I don't know what's happening. And the thing I don't like is you can't really plan ahead because someone's probably going to take your spot. But the more we played, the more I saw some, I'm like, oh, this could work. We could be doing this here. Did I win?
It was either you or Jeremy. Yeah,
we were pretty close. Yeah. And I don't know how that happened because the whole time I'm like, man, I'm really sucking it up, pretty serious. Because there's some like in-game stuff that makes you feel like, oh, I'm doing well, I'm getting this. And then there's sometimes where you're like, okay, I'm not doing well. But then there's how the dragons can kind of count at the end for majority, which again, I do not love area control. But it was really intriguing, and it does look cool. I just wish there were like tail pieces for the dragon instead of just body and head. But I know that's a whole other complication. Yeah. Obviously, the art is cool. The way that Weberson Santiago uses color and kind of like undefined edges of things is cool. Is really cool. It ended up like I liked it more than I thought I would. It is not a top 100. It might be in my 200s game. I didn't love it as much as I think Jason does, but I would play it again. Yeah. That
is correct. It's not my favorite game of all time, but it did make my top countdown it was one of the games that I ranked. So let's put it in that way.
Well, that's true.
So it's at least in my top 346.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like it. I would play it anytime. It's probably not going to be one that I'm going to grab over and over and over to play. But if somebody wanted to try it, I would gladly try it.
Yeah, like I would probably play for the win more.
Yeah, probably. It would be easier to get out on the table for sure.
Yeah.
All right, and the last game we're going to talk about is the same designers for the win, Freedom and Freeze. It's another game that's all green, and it's called 5 Cucumbers. And this is a trick-taking game where you're playing 7 tricks, and the only one that you care about effectively is the 7th one, because all the cards have a cucumber value on them. They're going to range from 1 to 15. Well, everything except 1 has a cucumber value, and the higher the card, the more cucumbers they are. So the first, every trick you're going to play a card, you have to follow. There is no suit, so if I play a 15, someone has to either play a 15 or higher, which you can't, and if you can't, you're going to play your lowest card from your hand. So as the game progresses, you're going to be filtering out your highest and your lowest cards. So then by the time it gets to the 7th round, you're trying to not take that trick, because if you take that trick, you get stuck with the cucumbers on the highest card. And if someone's thrown a 1 in there, you're going to double those cucumbers. Good luck keeping a 1. It's tricky. And the goal of the game is to not get cucumbers, and if you get 5 cucumbers, you're out of the game. Hence the name 5 Cucumbers. And that's the game. A little trick-taking game where the other tricks do matter, but the only one that is going to affect scoring or any part of the game is trick number 7. This was fun. It's always, that last trick was kind of tension-filled because you never knew what card anybody has, because you're not playing with all the cards in the deck. You're just dealt 7. That's what you have. and then good luck. But yeah, I enjoyed this. It's fun. I like For the Win a little bit better, but I did enjoy the cucumber bits and trying not to get eliminated by getting 5 cucumbers. So how do you feel about 5 cucumbers?
Initially, when we started playing For the Win, I was like, oh, 5 cucumbers is so much better than this. I was wrong. But this, I think I do like it. It's much lighter, actually, than For the Win, which I thought it would not be. But it is that kind of tension of, oh, yeah, do I want, like, high numbers? Well, no, I don't think so, because I don't want to win the last trick. But then it's like, well, if I don't have real high numbers to get rid of kind of at first, I'm going to have to start pulling out my low numbers and giving them away. And then I may get stuck with like a mid number that could do be in if somebody has kept something really low. We were playing with one of my best friends and my cousin and her husband, and they were like, this is like a nice, easy to pick up. Anybody can play this, casual, while we're talking, while we're eating, while we're hanging out kind of game. And that is very true. And it's nice to have those games, I think, in your collection, either as fillers or when you know that your crowd can't handle something heavier, or like your attention span, or like if we're playing late at night, don't be busting out Vital, because my brain can't handle it. As you can see, I have, or as many of you have heard, when we record at like 10 o'clock at night, I already might have like mush brain. So this is one of those that I'm like, yeah, I could handle that if we're going to play, if we're playing like late. Unlike Jason, who's like, I'll play from sun up to sundown and in between, because as long as we're playing games, my body and my brain don't understand that there's like time or hunger.
It's true. It's true.
That is not me. I don't have the ability of hyperfocus. My neurodiversity is different. But yes, this was like a fun, and we just kind of started out with this, and it was nice because there was, kids running around, stuff happening. Just to kind of get into the game night even was fun with this one. So yeah, I like it. It's not the deepest game, but it is one of those that's nice to like pull out. This would be great at camp, for like our very casual gamer friends. I was surprised.
I mean, I love trick-taking games anyway. So
Right.
a trick-taking game that has a funky little twist, and, it has one suit, so there's even less stuff to have to discuss.
Right.
And teach is pretty nice. I'm a fan of that.
Despite the fact cucumbers look like pickles.
That's true. We were calling it 5 pickles, which it doesn't really matter because the theme is irrelevant, but it was funny. Yeah. Good game for sure. All right, so those are the 3 games that we played. We are moving on.
All right, as I mentioned at the top of the episode, we are starting our favorite games of all time, the top 100. Every time I go to rank games, my brain basically wants to explode. Because number one, I'm like, oh my goodness, we have so many good games. We played so many. And then also I think, gosh, I haven't played this in a long time. Do I really like this game? Do I only remember liking it? And that's not true. I have other games to play to this game because I don't remember it. Or why haven't I played this game? Or then it's like, how do you rank a game that is cooperative versus a game that is 2-player versus a game that is deck building versus, and so these are very subjective, and you are welcome to fight me on my choices. I try to go in and think the same thought. It is, if someone had these 2 games in their hands and said, which one do you want to play right now? That's how I chose. It is very difficult. And also if I thought, I don't really remember that game well enough, I played it one time. I got rid of a lot of games out of my ranking list because I'm like, you know what? That's not really fair. So I only ranked just a little over 300 games, which may seem like a lot to some or may not seem like a lot. But again, I didn't want to rank games for 1,200 hours. And also, after all, when you're ranking games and you realize, gosh, I really don't remember that game, you think, why in the world would I rank that then? So that was my approach to ranking my games. Jason, what was your approach?
Same. Whenever 2 games came up, I thought Man, I'd much rather play this game right now. Or there were a few instances where I had a hard time comparing because it was like a card game to like a huge board game.
Right.
So then in those instances, I said, which game do I like better? But normally it was which one would I rather play? But that wasn't always the case, but that was what I was trying to do.
Yeah, and I think because of how we play games now, who we're playing with, we do still try to play a lot of new games and not as many old games. We're trying to get away from that and play good games, but we tend to play with more or less experienced players. So I think my games have trended towards the lighter. So that may have affected my ranking, although I feel like my top 10 look very similar from year to year. I may have to do like a comparison of my top 10 over the last 4 years to see where they landed. But
yeah, that would be interesting for sure.
So do you want me to start or do you want to start?
I'll start. I put it in the opposite order, but I can start. That's fine.
Okay. So Jace, give us your number 100.
All right. So my number 100 is a little card game that I don't know. I think we're like the only people in the world that play this game. But we have everything for it, and I really like it. And I played it not that long ago in the scheme of life, but it's been a minute. And it's called Dark Tales. And this is effectively a card game about fairy tales. And the basic game is just generic fairy tale, but it has Snow White, Cinderella, Little Mermaid, and Little Red Riding Hood expansion cards that you can add in. And effectively what this game is it's a draw a card, play a card game. And you are trying to get cards in front of you, card in the middle of the table to score points. You're just trying to score as many points as you can. Some of the cards will go with other ones. Some of them will give you tokens, which will let you score certain ways at the end of the game. Some of them will destroy other cards. Some of them will work on other cards that people have. Some of them work off the cards in the middle. Some of them work off the time of day because it can go from daytime to nighttime. Ton of stuff going on in there. It almost feels like Stefan Feld, the card game. It's a point salad card game, which doesn't exist really anywhere except in this game. And I don't know, it's probably not the greatest game, but I always have a ton of fun playing with it. And it just always, whenever I'm ranking it, it always gets rated pretty highly because I enjoy it. So my number 100, Dark Tales.
This is in my top 200, I believe, which Jason is making videos for his 100 Outside the 100. And we have done videos together before, but they just never seem to work out as well. But I think I'm going to try to do reviews of my 100 Outside the 100, written reviews. So more to follow. My 100 is a game I'm probably going against everything I said that I worked on when ranking these. I've played this game once. Yeah, just once. But I really I really liked it, and it was recent, so it was fresh in my mind of how it played. Now, if I do not own this game between now and next year, it will probably fall. My number 100 is Harmonies, and we have Richard Diaz to thank for introducing me to this game at Origins. So Harmonies is a game where you are drafting these they're like
little
tile,
like cylinder pieces,
disc type things.
Yeah, disc.
That will.
And we do own this game, by the way.
Oh yeah, we did buy it. We just haven't played it.
Yeah, I have. You haven't yet.
Oh, did you play it with my cousin and her husband?
I did. Yes.
Where was I?
You might have been napping once, and I think
that's
you might not have been there.
Default.
Yeah.
Katie naps a lot. I do want to play it again. Yeah, you're drafting these cylinders, which have like different. What's a good word? Like, I don't want to say elements, but kind of.
Yeah, it's like wood. It doesn't really go into the theme in the book, but they're different colors and they represent like different things, like a base of a tree, top of a tree, water, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I want to say like different topographies almost, but not really because sort of. But you're using them on your player board to kind of create these almost biomes.
Yeah, you're trying to make biomes for animals. That's the theme in the game.
Right. So creating these different biomes, but they're being laid out in different patterns. And those patterns are going to either match cards that you have, or patterns that are established for different biome types that are going to score you points. The thing I really like about this game is you have fairly limited choices on what to do on your turn, but you can, as far as like collecting, like there's only certain groups of these different types of cylinders that you can collect. What's out there is out there. It's blind draw from a bag, right? But how you want to place them and how you're going to use that placement to accomplish things for points, you can do whatever. You can like multiple hit a certain configuration to hit a card and score off of that, because you can only have so many cards that you can work on. So that is one way to go. You can or go in and like try to match or get like the highest scoring of a certain type of pattern, maybe of just one type of biome or multiple types of biomes. I just think that there are multiple paths to victory on this one that make it very viable. We played it and I thought that like, well, maybe you're really supposed to just go after these cards. And I'm like, I cannot get my cards to activate. And also I thought that like I thought you could overlap them and you couldn't. So I just gave up on that and was like, I'm just going to make do with what I have out here on my board. And that ended up giving me a really great score. And you can do kind of a combo of that. Like, I just think that there are lots of ways to complete things for points, and you can kind of go in whatever way your board and the draw is working for you and still have a viable strategy. And I really like that. I hate being boxed in. And I think this is a very nice tactile, very pretty, light, but again, with significant decisions. That's why it made such an impression on me. So my number 100 is Harmonies.
Yeah, this is a good one. I don't have my list pulled up. I have no idea where it is, but we'll find out when we get
Every time we do this, I always pull my list up, and I keep thinking, maybe this time Jason is going to pull his list up, because he always says, oh, my list pulled up. I don't know where that is, but yeah, it's a good game. Every time. It's
not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It will never happen, so we might as well just quit wishing that it would happen. All right, so my number 99 is actually a game that we don't own, but I've played it a significant amount of times for some reason, and it is called Tidal Blades, Heroes of the Reef. And this is a game where it's a dice game, sort of, and a worker placement game. You have these little characters that you're sending out to these different areas on the board, and you're trying to collect dice. And these dice are going to basically be used to do events. You're in like this stadium and you're doing events to show off, like doing tricks and stuff. That's the theme. But ultimately what it means is you want to go to these areas and you want to roll certain phases of your dice. Or you want to go visit this monster, and this monster has to be defeated by certain colors and certain types of dice. And if everybody works together, it goes a lot easier, but you're going to lose your dice there. So you're trying to go around these different places, manage your dice, upgrade your character's abilities so you get different special powers. There's way more to it than that, but it's been a minute since I played it. But I do really enjoy this game. It's one that I would like to get on the shelf, because I think the people like Katie's cousin and her husband that we play with would probably like this one, but it just hasn't happened yet. So my number 99, Tidal Blades, Heroes of the Reef.
This, I did not rank this one because I couldn't remember it as well as I wanted to. So it's one that if we played it again, if we actually owned it, I think I'd remember it better. My number 99, I wanted to not like. Mostly because some of the board game rundown guys like kept going on and on about it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And whenever they go on and on about something, the rebellious Gen Xer in me is like, oh, I don't want to like that. But then we played it and it was really fun. And then we bought it. So my number 99 is The Downfall of Pompeii. So this game has like two phases, which I think makes it really, I don't want to say really easy to teach, but makes it easier to teach, which is why I think that's another aspect of enjoying this game. So in the first part, you are placing out cubes, I guess. Or are they meeples?
They're cylinders that represent people.
Okay. Yeah. She placed on these cylinders. Do they go in the buildings or outside the buildings? I'm so terrible at remembering.
In the buildings. Each building has space for a certain number of people.
Okay. So then you're placing them out. And that's kind of like just giving you a little bit of strategy of where are my people? How close are we to the exits? You also get cards when you place. You're playing cards.
Correct. You're playing cards to place in certain color buildings and all that, yeah.
Right. And so kind of the number of cards then is related to how many you can put in certain areas. So there's some strategy to that also, but you're really placing them because they're going to be there for the second half. And what I find is interesting is that you don't always get to place out all your people. It's not the same number. Like, not everyone has the same number of people out on the board.
Correct. Yep.
Why is that?
Well, because there's some cards that are taken out. Everybody's going to be placing different numbers of people. And if you are placing better in that second half of placement, when you can do like the family placement and you can place extra people, you're going to do that more effectively and have more people out.
Oh, yeah. Family placement. I didn't remember what that was called.
So there's like initial placement where it's just you play a card, put people in there. Then after like a certain number of volcano cards, it switches to where you put something out. You can put extra people out based on what's in the building. And then the third half is the volcano is going to eat everybody up.
Yeah. So if you're placing your people, in some ways you're like, oh, I don't want to place people close together. But in other ways, it actually really can help you later. So you've got your people, you get your people place, and then the volcano, because this is about Pompeii. Pompeii starts erupting. So while it is erupting and lava is flowing, you are trying to get your people out of the city and not get lavaed. But when it is each person's turn, they are in charge of kind of placing the lava. So they could have the lava flow closer to you or over you. And so then they love that because you get to take the people and toss them into the volcano.
Best part of the game. Which
is a great part of the game. However, you could also have lava flow and block exits. Like, it's just... And then having your people kind of closer together allows you to kind of move them greater numbers if they're occupying the same space. So there is a lot of strategy with that. Keeping an eye on how many people, because even if you say you place less people than everybody else in the first half, if you were able to get more out, that is a winning thing, because having a lot of people chucked in the volcano is not great.
Nope.
Not great for you. 1
point for everybody that gets out, and then if there's a tie, whoever has the least amount in the volcano.
Which we have, and honestly, ties kind of happen because lava is just flowing everywhere. It's Pompeii. I mean, Pompeii is erupting, so lava is flowing everywhere. People getting chucked in the volcano, and I have lost because I had too many people chucked in the volcano, and I was real mad. But I'm like, look, I put so many people out. That's why they got in the volcano. Okay, no, it didn't matter. And I just like that. And there's luck to it. There's strategy to it, but nothing overwhelming. The ease of explaining like how the different parts work together. Like, you could just explain kind of the first half, like, here we're placing people, and this is how we place people. And then we don't even worry about how lava flows, how people get stuck in the volcano. We don't even worry about that till later. And I think that makes this like a really fun game, really accessible game. So my number 99, The Downfall of Pompeii.
All right, so my number 98 is a game that somebody sent us, a listener sent us, a nice shiny deluxe Kickstarter copy and he wrote inside the box. That was awesome. And it is called Pret. This is the reprint one. We didn't get the old and busted one. We had the new shiny one, actually. Well, because we didn't have to pay for it. Right. But this is a game about running a fashion house. So you're running this fashion house and you're trying to design different pieces of clothing. You're trying to expand your fashion house by getting new cards. You're trying to get contracts. And that's all done through worker placement. You have these, I think, 3 or 4 different workers that you have. You're going to go to these different locations that are going to let you take cards, get new designs, all that kind of thing. And you're trying to basically end the game with the most money. but you're going to have to spend money to do things as well. So it's a give and a take. There's a lot more to it than that, but that's just the stripped down version. The sets of designs that you're trying to make like similar sets. Like if you're making a skirt, you want it to be like a sports skirt set or whatever. It's super fun. I like it. It's hard to teach. It doesn't go over with everyone. I understand that. So we don't play it a lot because it's kind of obtuse in certain areas, but I will gladly play this with someone that knows how to play it any single time that they want to play it. So my number 98, Pret.
This one is higher than mine because I really enjoy it and all the different moving parts to it. I know some people get cranky about it.
Some of the games on my list took a hit because of how that I have to teach them. And just thinking about that when I was doing the list, I was like, I don't really want to teach this. So it knocked it down some. I think this is one of them.
Well, you didn't mention that when you were saying how you decided what you want to play.
Well, I didn't, but as I was talking, I thought about that. Yeah.
My number 98 has fallen greatly. And I think it's because I haven't played it as much. But also, I like games where there's a chance to win. And it is hard to win this game. And that is Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle. Don't get me wrong. Love it. Still in my top 100 because the theme is so good on this one. And it's a deck builder. I love deck builders. So this one, you are one of main characters in Harry Potter. We have all the stuff for it. So you can be Harry, Ron, Hermione, Ginny, Neville, or Luna. And then of course, Jason is like, hey, I'm not a quitter. We're throwing all of the cards in there. We're playing all of the villains. That makes it hard because you've got to get all these villains. They're trying to all the Death Eaters are trying to knock you down. They are ruining all the locations. You're trying to defeat the Horcrux. I mean, it's just a lot. So I think if I were to play it again, I'm like, look, we're only playing it this way or this way. But the way the cards synergize is so great. The way that they do the actions they do with the theme. The way that as a cooperative, because it is cooperative, you're working together to defeat Voldemort. You can help each other. Like there are cards that let you help each other. Certain decks really lean into a certain specialty, which I think makes you feel like you're a vital part of the team and what's going on. Yeah, I really enjoy this game. It's still so very good, even though it is down further in my 100. But especially if you're a Potterhead, this is a great game to pull out. So my number 98, Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle.
Yeah, I was looking through mine a little bit before we started recording, and I didn't even see this on my list. I know I did it, unless I took it off. I don't know. Either way, it's a fun game. My number, that's just what I'm going to say for all of them. It's a fun game. My number 97 is a game that Katie still hasn't played. I won't let her play it. That's the rumor that's going around.
It feels like it.
It is called Kraftwagen. And this is a game about making like early automobiles, but not like Kanban. This is a simpler game where you are moving around this action selection track, and whoever's in the back gets to take the next action. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get car bodies of certain values. You have to be able to do that. You have to have the know-how. You're trying to get engines to put in those car bodies. Again, you have to have certain engineers and be able to do that. You're trying to get new engineers. You're also trying to get engines into these like test cars that are driving around this racetrack because you want to make better laps than everybody else to score points. And ultimately what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the best body and engine in a car. Maybe not the best, but most of the time you're trying to get those pieces together to put them on sale. Because at the end of the round, different cars are going to sell to different people based on certain aspects. So maybe you want the best body in a car. You want the best engine in a car. You want the car that has the most people working on it because you have these discs that you can assign when you put a car over on the side. Or you want the best deal on the car, which means it's the best car, but you put it in the cheapest slot, and whoever does that will be able to sell the car, and you're trying to get as many points as you can. It's a pretty interesting game. It has a lot of rules, but really the game's not that difficult, but it is another one that's harder to teach, which is kind of why it's down a little bit lower, and then I don't want to bring it out a lot because to teach it's kind of a pain in the butt. But other than that, I enjoy it. I like playing it. It does a lot of stuff that I like, and it has a lot of beige and blue as the color pattern, and I dig that. So my number 97, Kraftwagen.
Yeah, this is a game that every time I talk about how much I detest Kanban, Jason and everybody else goes, "Oh yeah, well, Kraftwagen, I bet you'd like that." And I'm like, well, Jason never suggests to play it. It never comes out. I didn't realize we owned it for a long time. It was like this big kept secret, and I'm like, well, apparently I would like it, but I am not allowed to play it.
I mean, it wasn't a secret. You just...
Mm-hmm. My number 97 has also fallen, I think because we haven't played it very much, but also because some of the aspects of this game I found in other games. And that is Paris. So Paris, Kramer and Kiesling game about different districts in Paris that you are buying buildings in, kind of investing in this architecture and this, it's like in the Paris of after the World's Fair, right? So it's this really great, everything's beautiful. The artwork is very cool. The game has this Arc de Triomphe that you build and put in the center. It looks cool. It blocks everything on the other side of the board, but it looks awesome. So again, just a gimmick. But you are investing in different areas, getting these like keys to have. And there's also a rondel that you're moving around on the outside. One of those that you can move as far as you want. But you can't go back. So you can pick up bonuses because money is tight in here. These resources to get up to certain like higher level architecture buildings are hard to get. So you can find those on the outside. So it's like area control and also like investing in these tiles, and like you can build kind of bigger architectures in these areas once you have you're up to a certain amount on them. Just like a lot of neat like mechanics working in this one, and it's just very pretty. So I really like it. So that's why Paris is my number 97.
Yeah, that is one that I kind of want to play more, but it does get kind of brain burning at the end there.
It is hard. You're like, what can I do with what I have? I don't know. I have done everything.
Yeah, it's one of those games where you start out, you can do the world is your oyster, and then at the end, you're like, there's nothing I can do. I literally am just going to take this thing and make the game go to the end. That's it.
I'm getting no points. I'm getting no more points. That's it.
Yeah, it's rough. All right, so my number 96 is a Reiner Knizia game, and I don't know how you feel about this game, but I enjoy it, and it is Blue Moon City. And this is a game where you're basically, you have these cards that are different colors, and they're going to let you activate tiles of the same color. You need to be able to play these cards to put these little discs down on these tiles. The tile will activate once there's enough discs in there by either one player or everybody, and whoever activates the tile gets to do this special thing, and everybody else gets a lesser compensation. So you always get something, but you may get better if you complete it. So it's kind of like a give and take of who's going to complete it and who isn't. But the ultimate goal of the game is you're trying to pay for these discs in, I think, shards. There's like a shard money thing to build up on this like Eiffel Tower looking thing. And you're trying to get more of your discs on this Eiffel Tower than everybody else before the end of the game, and you will win. That's it. As tiles are activated, they flip over, and then if you're like next to them when you fire off another tile, you'll get adjacency bonuses. It's a really simple game. I like it. I like the way the card play works. All the cards have like special abilities too. It's just fun. I enjoy it. So my number 96, Blue Moon City.
I think I ended up not ranking this because it had been so long and I kept forgetting about it, and I don't know. It's okay. Like I'll play it if someone wants to play it, but it's just, I don't know. Something about it I don't like. I don't know why. The artwork or something. I don't know. My number 96 is a game that every time I played it, I'm like, yeah, this game is so good. The only problem is it takes kind of a long time because you can't really plan ahead for your turn because the board is always changing. And that is 5 Tribes. This is one of those classic great Days of Wonder games. Production quality is so good. The artwork is good. I love the bits. Oh my goodness, I love the bits on this. So it's been called this type of game where you are gathering meeples and then redistributing them to end with a particular color of meeple that will indicate your action. You can do, there's like set collection in this. You can place like oasis and camels. You can attack other people's stuff. You can collect certain types of meeples that are worth points. You can get genies that are going to do really great powers or get you points. Again, most paths to victory. I love that about this. I tend to go in a genie vizier focused direction, and I love that. Jason loves the cards part of it. I just and as meeples are being moved around, your potential changes for actions. You bid for turn order with these slightly phallic looking things, but the colors are so pretty. I don't know. It's just a really good game. There's a reason this is a classic. So my number 96 is Five Tribes.
Yeah, this is another one where you don't need to even look at the board until it's your turn because, well, it's going to change. All right, so my number, what was that? That was 96.
Yeah.
My number 95 is a game that we picked up the same time as Harmonies. And Katie picked it up, and it had Clemens Franz art, so, I mean, come on. And it also has a spinner, a modern game that uses a spinner. So we had to buy it. And the game is called Tipperary. And this is a game that I've played, I don't know, 4 or 5 times now. Again, you might have been sleeping or not.
None of them with me.
But this is a game. It's effectively a polyomino game. You're going to put 2 polyominoes around each of these different sections of the spinner, which is going to represent. You're going to have your own section that matches to your little player board in front of you. It's a little like coat of arms. Someone's going to spin that, and then you're going to take both those tiles from your section, and you're going to place one of them into your city in front of you. What you're trying to do is you're trying to surround your city with tiles. That's going to give you points. You're trying to connect these different ruins, which will give you these little like castle pieces. You're trying to put a distillery next to a field so you can make whiskey because you want to, you got to have whiskey. And you're also trying to get a pasture that's huge with a lot of sheep in it because you want to have the biggest pasture to score points, and you get 1 point per sheep. So you're trying to do all that with these tiles, and all the tiles are funky shapes. There's no like normal shape at all. It could be like 9 tiles big and does this weird pattern that doesn't fit anywhere. So you're just trying to make the best of the 2 tiles that you get over like 10 to 12 rounds. It's crazy fast, but it's a super fun game. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I just enjoy the vibe and mostly the spinner. I enjoy the spinner. What can I say? So my number 95, Tipperary.
Yeah, I have not played this. It just so happens that I was never around for it. I might have been sleeping once. I don't know. Sometimes I don't always sleep.
No, I know. That's just a joke now. I think you were like with Rory or something at cheer or something.
Yeah, doing stuff with the kids or talking to my grandmother, taking care of her, whatever. I would like to play it at some point because I love my man Clemens Franz. Are you sure it's Clemens Franz art?
100% sure.
Okay. I thought it looked better than that.
It does look better, which is why it's surprising. Yes, it looks better. I think
because there aren't people.
That's true. It's just like animals and scenery. Yeah, that's true. His
people are not his finest feature.
I'm pretty sure. I'll look it up while you talk your next one, just so I'm not lying.
Clemens Franz, he's never going to listen to this, so it's fine.
He might. I bet he will. This will be the episode.
No, he never will. Otherwise, he'll go back and get a restraining order because I talked about how much I loved him and all their weird stuff. My number 95 is one of our random finds. It has Ian O'Toole art. I do know that. Look at me go. But it's a game that I think the mechanics and the theme work so well together, and that game is Fool's Gold. We paid $5 or $10 for this game. I had no idea. But in this game, you're part of the gold rush, And in the gold rush, like you're going out to mine for gold. And there's all these different places that you can mine. You can mine in the mountains, you can mine in the hills, you can mine at the lake. And you're sending your miners out. You have to pay money to get your place in line at the mine. You roll these dice to determine which mine is open. And then you got these decks of cards for each mine. And they've got gold in them. Different amounts, varying quantities of gold. They have some gems. They've also got just plain dirt. And they've got some, bad weather. And they've got some, what's the other one? Bad weather and something else.
False alarm.
Yeah, a false alarm. Where it's like, oh, you thought there was a lot of gold. There's not. And so the randomness of what comes out of that deck is really like when you go pan for gold. You may think it's there and it's not. So you're pushing your miners out, trying to get the most gold. You get points for gems as well. But you don't want to go like, oh, I'm going to get all the gold out of the river. Because whichever location you have the most gold in turns to fool's gold at the end, and that does not count towards your score. So like you're trying to balance your gold from all these different areas. You definitely want to get gold from different areas, trying to get these gems. Meanwhile, the weather could be bad. You could have a false alarm. You could just get a bunch of dirt. It's a great, and it's the same thing over and over again. Once you play one round, you're like, oh, this is what we're doing. And so it's fairly easy to teach. I've actually taught this by myself without Jason on more than one occasion. And we have just had a good time with it. So my number 95 is Fool's Gold.
Yeah, this is a good one. All right, so my next one. Now, I honestly will say I don't remember much about this one, but every time it came up, I wanted to keep playing it. I wanted to play it, and it's called Hansa. And this is a game where players are taking on control. Players are all controlling this one boat that's moving around a map of Scandinavia. Yes, I knew that off the top of my head. Wink, wink.
Do you know where Scandinavia is?
It's on Earth somewhere. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get to these different ports or different cities around the map. And you're trying to buy, sell, and expand markets. And you're trying to be the player that has different sets of goods to score as many points as you can at the end of the game. It's a simple concept. There's a lot more rules to it than that, but it's a pretty simple concept where everybody has to share the boat, and in order to move the boat, you have to pay for it. There's certain pathways that the boat can't take, so if you want to get to these certain areas, you may have to go around a long way. It's kind of like a rondel, sort of. I had a ton of fun playing it. I honestly don't remember it too much, so sorry. But it's a solid game. We do own it, so I could play it when I want to. I just haven't. And that is my number, I forget, where's the sheet? 94, Hansa. That was really good. That was a really good one for me, Hansa, yeah.
Hilarious. I did not rank this because I couldn't remember what the game was. So
it didn't stop me.
Yeah, it just did not register. It's fine. I just feel like I haven't played that much enough to like warrant me to rank it. Sorry. My number 94, I've played a lot. I've introduced it to many people. I've taught it myself. And we have an expansion for it. And it's so, so very good. And that game is Sea Salt and Paper. I love a little card game. Again, this card game is one of those that has a really simple type of action, but the choices are, you're going to be like, oh man, and multiple paths to victory. I love that. So Sea Salt and Paper, the artwork, adorable. It is photographs of origami done of things in the ocean and ocean adjacent. So you've got crabs and fish and mermaids and lighthouses and penguins and besides penguinos, what else? Octopus and a jellyfish in the expansion, and swimmers and sharkies. And so on your turn, you either draw 2 cards to the deck and keep one and discard one, or you take 1 card from one of the 2 face-up discard piles. You are doing set collection. You are making pairs that allow you to utilize special powers to get you more cards. And then it has this kind of mechanic, which Hanafada does, where you can either say, all right, we're done, let's score it up. Or you can do kind of a, come on, like, all right, we'll do a last call. Just because you think, I got the best hand here. And there are lots of ways to score points in this. Once you hit 11, 13 points.
To call for last call?
Yeah.
7.
Oh, last call's line 7. Okay, great. Good job, Katie. It also has great player aids, which are really helpful in teaching and remembering. Last call. So you can like maybe get to 7 kind of quick sometimes and think, yeah, nobody's got anything going on for them. Or you can really like see how much points you can bank. You're like, oh yeah, this is awesome. There's also the if you get all 4 mermaids, you automatically win. I have seen that happen once. It was crazy. But again, very simple kind of card game, but like the scoring is really interesting, deciding if you're just going to take the points, everyone gets their points. There's like color bonuses. The only difficult thing is you kind of have to walk people through their scoring for the first couple times they play it to make sure they get it. But it's cute. It's easy to play. I really like it. So my number 94, Sea Salt and Paper.
Yeah, that is definitely one of the better card games that come out in a while, for sure.
You don't know where this is on your list, if it's even on your list, do you?
It's a good game. Yeah, it's a good game. My number 93 is on my list. This game is on my list. And it is called the Belgian Beers Race. And we just played this not that long ago.
This is criminally low on the list.
Yeah, it is low. It is low. I don't know. There were just other games that I think, and part of it is the teach. I don't necessarily like to teach on this either. And
it is hard. It is hard. I agree.
So this is a game about traveling around Belgium and visiting breweries and drinking beer, buying beer, eating some cheese, hitchhiking. Because to get from the breweries, you're either going to hitchhike, you're going to ride a bus, or you're going to ride your bike. But if you get too drunk, you can no longer ride a bike. If you show up at a brewery where someone else is, you'll toast them, which gets both of you a little bit more drunk. So you're trying to get through all these events in the day while managing your alcohol level. You can do that by riding your bike. If you ride a bike for 4 time units, it'll get you more sober. If you eat cheese, it'll sober you up a little bit. If you get too drunk, you pass out and you're out for the round. So you're just trying to visit as many breweries as you can. You're trying to collect as many of these bottles and coasters that you can. You're trying to move on a ton of tracks because the more beer you drink, the more of this track you're moving up. So many ways to score points. It's basically moving around a map and moving up on tracks, which, I love moving up on tracks. And it has a really fun theme of visiting taverns and trying not to get drunk. So, yeah, that is my number 93, the Belgian Beers Race.
I will be talking about this much, much later in an appropriate numbered spot. My number 92 is a game that we haven't played lately, but...
93.
Oh, my number 93. We'll talk about 93 first.
Good call, yeah.
It's because you got it all backwards. My number 93 is a game that Jason hates, mostly because he's bad at deduction. And I couldn't understand why he had such trouble with this game, because to me, it just works so well. And that game is The Search for Planet X. Y'all know I like deduction. It's because I was one of those kids that got put in like a special smart kids class as a child.
Smart kids class.
Shut up. And they're like, no. Since you've mastered reading, we're not going to focus on that anymore. We're going to have you do puzzles. Because for some reason, that's what they made all of us smart kids do. So I did puzzles for several hours, a couple days a week. And we did a lot of logic puzzles, which was deduction. And this game really echoes what I spent a lot of my childhood doing, which it's not bragging. It's kind of sad now because, I don't know, I could have been learning a lot of other things that might have more use, except when I play this game, because it's awesome. So you are looking at different parts of the sky, trying to determine what types of like celestial bodies are there so that you can figure out where Planet X is. And there are certain rules that that help dictate if something is in one place, it's not going to be in another, or if it is present in this place, then something else is true. And you're using kind of those logical conditions then to determine where planet X is as the rounds go on. It looks cool. You've got an app that I think really works well and helps you. We do not own this, do we?
No, this was Matt and Jamie's.
I have wanted to play it so many times, but we don't have it. And Jason doesn't like to play it, so even if I did have my friends bring it, he wouldn't want to play it anyway. And so it makes me sad because as time goes on, this will probably slip even further down the list because I won't get to play it. But it's so good. It's so good. So it's my number 93, The Search for Planet X.
Yeah, I don't normally want to play a game that I have no chance of winning at ever. That makes it hard for me to want to come back to.
I just don't understand how you have no chance of winning. Like,
we've gone over this. I'm terrible at
We just
deduction.
need to play in a team, and I'll show you. It's like how I taught you Clue. I can teach you this.
That's true. Yeah, we might have to do that. Next time I'll just sit with you and watch the master in action.
It's true.
All right, so speaking of a game that I will play, my number 92 is a game about Christmas.
That was a terrible segue.
And it's... That's what I do here. And it's called Santa's Workshop. I didn't put first or second edition because I don't really care. I like the first one better, but I'll play either of them. They're similar enough that it doesn't really matter. But this is a game where you are 3 elves, and you are working in Santa's workshop to build toys to send those toys off to the kids for Christmas time. You're also trying to take care of the reindeer, make sure they have everything they need. In the second one, it works a little bit differently, but you're getting points for doing stuff with the reindeer. There's some special characters that come in sometimes that give you an extra meeple for a round to place. And you're just trying to collect resources like metal, fabric, and wood in the new version to make these different types of toys. They need certain numbers of each of them. And you're trying to get the most points, also trying to deliver the most toys because there's a bonus for that. And it's just a fun game. It's a simple little worker placement game with a cool Christmas theme, and I enjoy it. So either version, fine by me. I prefer first, but I'll play either. So my number 92 is Santa's Workshop.
I like this game because I like the Christmas theme. I think I wish there was a more in-depth, kind of streamlined Christmas game like this. But yeah, it's outside my top 200, I think, actually. My number 92, which I tried to get at earlier because it's really good, and it's actually good, I think, at maximum player count because it makes the mechanics of the game work better, in my opinion, is Victorian Masterminds. This game also picked up on a whim because I love the look of the art. I love the steampunk kind of theme. So you are making a doomsday machine. You're a mad scientist. Obviously, you're a mastermind in the Victorian era. And to build your machine, you have to go out and collect parts by using these really cool, very tactile player pieces that are gears with your color, but they have like different workers on them. And the different workers give you different things. Some of them negate other people's choices because when you place a worker, you place it face down on a stack. And once the stack gets so many gears high, which between your choices and others' choices, that stack will then fire off and you will reap the benefits of the workers there. So sometimes you negate other people's choices. Sometimes you double your choices. Sometimes instead of getting the item that is available there, you are capturing a building and adding it to your collection for points. And then you're using the resources you've gathered to kind of add pieces to your doomsday machine. And as you add the pieces to it, it's unlocking other powers that are helping you be more effective in your work. It's really fun. Is this Antoine Bauza? No, this is Eric Lang.
Yeah,
no.
It's both. And Antoine Bauza and Lang.
Oh my gosh, look at me go. Look at me go. Got both designers. I really enjoy Antoine Bauza, and I actually have another Eric Lang game coming up. So I have grown to like some of his designs, and this one seems to be out of some of his typical choices, but more in Bauza's wheelhouse, which I enjoy. And just having, different locations firing off at different times, allowing you to collect things, the planning, the not knowing of what other people have placed on their type of gears they have placed on the different locations. I just think it makes it really great. So yeah. Number 92, Victorian Masterminds.
This is a Bowser game where Eric Lang just showed up and said, hey, you got to throw something mean in here. Let me do that for you. Yeah, that's kind of what he did.
Probably true.
All right, my number 91, and the last one I'm going to talk about today is a game about mice on a clock, and it's called Hickory Dickory. And this game I dig this game mostly because it has an awesome gimmick. And it is this clock that's in the middle of the table with movable hands that the mice can ride on. This is kind of a worker placement game where you're going to put your mice on different locations in the clock. But in order to do that, you have to get them onto the minute hand and travel around. So you're trying to stay on the minute hand as long as you can to get where you need to go, but people can jump on the hand and push you off. And each of the sections are going to give you like these different tiles that are different things that the mice are collecting. And you're going to put it in your little mouse bag, and you're trying to get these over onto your little player board to score different kinds of sets and points for the end of the game. That's majority of how you're going to get points is by collecting these little tiles. But the way that you're doing it with the minute hand and the tiles is the clock is really fun. Each of the mice have a special ability that they can do as well. They can all hold different amounts of stuff, and if they're on the same space, they can share goods between their bags, all that kind of thing. This is a really fun game. If I played it again recently, it probably would be up a little higher, but I just haven't played it for a little bit, and that's kind of why it just stays down here. But it's in the top 100, so it is definitely a good game, and I will gladly play it anytime. So my number 91, Hickory Dickory.
It is a good game, and therefore should be ranked a lot higher. So I will talk about it in its proper location later. And, I don't know, a lot of podcasts from now. My number 91 is my other Eric M. Lang game, which is mean, but oh my gosh, this game is so good. It's so fun. I love it. And that is The Godfather, Corleone's Empire. There was a time where you could find this game for $5. And it is worth that and more, really.
Yeah, I don't get why nobody likes this game. I don't understand.
I don't know. It's so fun. So you are a mob family. I've never seen The Godfather. I'm going to say that right now. I know. I just haven't. But it does not stop my enjoyment of the game. Like, the game is so good. You send your mob family members out to, shake down some different locations. You got to collect your insurance money. It'd be a shame if someone happened to burn the store down. A shame. So you're collecting drugs. You're collecting like money, guns.
Yeah. And alcohol.
Because it's prohibition, my friends. In order to fulfill contracts, which can get you some bonuses, allow you to bank money in your cute little tin briefcases, because the one at the end of the game with the most money wins. You are also, bumping off other gangsters who are trying to encroach into your territory, and you are establishing your territory for some area control points, which I stink at. I just am not good at that part. But I'm trying to get better because it is helpful to have some area control to get some little extra stuff. Like, there's a decent amount of things going on, but really, again, you don't have a ton of choices to make. Like, you are fulfilling these contracts, and you have a number of family members to put out, and they can do only certain things. And there are only certain places available to you. But it's really fun. It is mean. Obviously, you were throwing people in the river, bumping them off, but they come back in the next round, and they got to use them once anyway. So it's just a fun game. It's just so good. So I love it. So my number 91, The Godfather, Corleone's Empire.
Yep, solid game for sure. On my list somewhere.
Do you want to recap the games that we...
Yeah, I'll start.
Okay.
All right, so my number 100 is Dark Tales. My 99 is Tidal Blades, Heroes of the Reef. 98, Pret Porter. 97, Kraftwagen. 96, Blue Moon City. 95, Tipperary. 94, Hansa. 93, The Belgian Beers Race. 92, Santa's Workshop. And 91, Hickory Dickory.
Yes. Once again, Jason's list is a little bit sus and fake news, but hey.
Whatever. It's a good list.
It's an election year. He doesn't know what's going on. My number 100 is Harmonies. 99 is The Downfall of Pompeii. 98, Harry Potter, Hogwarts Battle. Number 97, Paris. Number 96, Five Tribes. 95, Fool's Gold. 94, Sea Salt and Paper. 93, The Search for Planet X. 92, Victorian Masterminds. And 91, The Godfather, Corleone's Empire. So we've started our top 100. If you have a lot of games that you have played or in your collection like we do, I would love it if you would start. We used PubMeeple ranking. I'm sure there are other ranking places out there possibly. But you can save, like, it took me a while to work through all of my selections and choices. But I'd love to hear your top 100 countdown if you can, or if you want to even do a top 200 or whatever. I love to hear what kind of games people like, because then I think, oh yeah, you like that game a lot? I need to give that a go. We need to try it. Or I haven't played that game in a while. Yeah, we should bust that game out. That's why I really love doing these lists and rankings, to just think about more games, older games, even games that have been played, that are good and deserve attention. So let us know on any of our socials if you are going to rank a list. If you have a list already ranked, I definitely want to hear about it for sure.
And I'll try to do better on my list. I'll make sure that it gets Katie's approval before I bring it onto the podcast.
No, he's not going to.
There we go.
That's
You're right. I'm not gonna do that.
Bold face lie.
I'll just keep doing my fake news list, and eventually, when we get to the top 20, we'll talk about the same games.
Maybe we'll see. I don't know, because I think some of the games you've listed, woo, they're at least in my top 50, if not higher, top 30. I think.
Yeah, maybe we'll be different this year. Maybe.
I'm also gonna. I really am gonna force myself to do some blogs or some postings on our website of my 100 outside the 100, since Jason and I don't always line up as far as video times, or he'll be doing a video and I'll be trying to keep our kids quiet, or he'll be doing a video and I'm looking like something a cat dragged in. So I'm not going to be on a video, but I can do some written postings. So keep an eye out for those, both videos, of the 100 outside the 100, blogs of the 100 outside the 100, and Jason will keep doing his crazy production of reviews.
So I'm going to try. We'll see. It might fizzle out, but I have all the best intentions in the world, so we'll see.
Oh, I always have best intentions, but
road to hell, so they say.
I know. It's like, it has not panned out. Just I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do multiple podcast recordings in 1 week, and it's gonna be, no, it never works out.
Nope, not gonna happen.
It's just the way it is. But we did get this one in, and I'm so thankful. It's been kind of a long episode, so sorry about that. Or maybe you're welcome, I guess, depending on where you come into this.
Just play it on 1.5 speed and be done with it.
Right. I bet my voice sounds real crazy on 1.5 speed.
Everybody's does, because it's 1.5 speed.
No, some people, they just have very slow, and especially if you have a lower tone voice, I think it doesn't sound as weird on 1.5 speed as probably mine does, because I already talk fast, I think, and my voice is a little bit in a higher register. So I don't know. If anybody listens to me in 1.5 speed, let me know. I'm sure I'm more annoying, or just as annoying at 1.5 speed as I am on regular.
Well, with that, we need to eat some lunch.
Yes. So I've been Katie.
And I'm Jason.
Keep gaming, everybody.
Keep gaming.